All right, friends. Well, as you can see, I'm back in my hotel room wearing the same thing that I was wearing on the Netflix broadcast. The night has come and gone, and I just wanted to offer some instant reaction, if you will, to what just transpired at the AT&T Stadium here in Arlington, Texas. So you probably know by now Jake Paul defeated Mike Tyson via unanimous decision. You probably know this was the first live combat sports event on Netflix. I'll give you some thoughts, perhaps maybe even in chronological order if I can. Um, I've worked for a lot of networks, a lot of productions, a lot of things. This was a really great experience. Everyone came together. There were a lot of, people who had never worked together before. A lot of people who, when you work on a production, it becomes a well-oiled machine. You see that with the UFC. They've been doing it for so long with the same crew. This was a lot of people who hadn't worked together before, and so it was really fun, and a lot of broadcasters who had never worked together. So I really enjoyed the whole thing. I must say that off the bat. I was very impressed with how buttoned up everyone was and just how much everyone cared. During the prelims, did I do anything during the prelims? No, I didn't do anything during the prelims. I did a couple of locker room interviews, one with Katie Taylor and one with Amanda Serrano, which I don't think ever aired for whatever reason. And then we did that open whip around, if you will, and I got to do my Marv Levy line, which was exciting and something that I thought of this morning. Only had 30 seconds. And then there was a period of not doing much. I interviewed Niraj Goyad in the back. I don't think that aired either. And so there was a period there where I did a lot of stuff that never aired. That's just the magic of TV. It happens. It's all good. There was a lot to get to. Did interview Jake backstage, interviewed Nikisa, then got in the ring for the Mario Barrios fight, and that's when things started to roll. The Goyat fight. Well, first of all, let me take a step back. The prelims, Shushu Carrington, I was really impressed with. Young man from Brownsville, top-ranked fighter. I think he's going to be a future star. He has it all. He's got the personality. He's got the look. He's got the charisma. He's got the fighting style. Really, really impressive. Lucas Badi didn't impress me as much as he did back in July when he knocked out H2O Silv. His opponent was super game on short notice, missed weight. Is what it is. Shadeja Green gets her title. Congratulations to her. Niraj Goyad versus Whindersson Nunes. I don't know if in retrospect it was the best way to start a card of this magnitude. It was fine. It was entertaining. But I just, I wasn't blown away by the skill. And clearly, Goyat wins, but nothing to really write home about. Barrios Ramos was fantastic. Back and forth. Ramos gets dropped early. Barrios gets dropped later. And it ends in a split draw. They should run it back. The crowd was into it. Two Mexican fighters of Mexican heritage. It was amazing. So enjoyed that. Co-main event, super controversial. In the end, Katie Taylor wins via unanimous decision. I wasn't sitting there scoring the fight, but I will say upon watching it and moving around and doing all the stuff, I thought Amanda was going to get the nod. And I thought especially after Katie got a point deducted for the headbutt, I thought that she would get the nod, or at worst it would end in a draw. Very close fight. Obviously the cut was significant. Obviously the headbutts were significant. These two are magic. I mean, that should really be the story. These two are magic together. I would love to see a third fight. I would love to see it at Croke Park. The 2 minutes versus 3 minutes debate is a fascinating one. I think that if it's a 3-minute first round, Katie maybe gets stopped again. And I say again because that was the debate after the first fight. If there's a 3-minute 5th round or 10th round, maybe she gets stopped. Maybe. But she's tough as nails. I mean, how you can't consider Katie Taylor the greatest of all time at this point, considering the level of competition. And this is no knock on Clarissa Shields. She's just not fighting, and it's like Demetrius Johnson in the UFC. She just doesn't have the foes at her disposal. You look at Katie did against Amanda the first fight, then Cameron 1, then Cameron 2, then this fight. She's unbelievable, and she takes a freaking shot. Obviously, Amanda's team upset. I thought Amanda was fantastic in the post-fight interview, very classy, and a lot of people are mad that Jordan Maldonado Amanda's brother-in-law and head trainer got on the mic and said some things about Katie Taylor. Like, that was very impromptu. And I think some of the Irish fans like wanted me to defend Katie's honor. Katie doesn't need me to defend her honor, and that's a passionate guy in a passionate moment. He was saying his piece. He was talking about the headbutts and the cut, and it sort of was what it was. It's not. I don't think in that position it's my role to defend anyone or defend their honor. Over time, maybe you could get a little bit more forceful. I'm not perfect, open to criticism and whatnot. Everyone knows how I feel about Katie. Everyone knows how much I adore her and respect her. And it was a super, super close fight. I can't wait to watch it again. My takeaway is, though, those two are unbelievable. They're magic. They needed each other. They're two of the greatest ever. And I'm so happy that they got to do that on a stage and platform like this in front of this many people. I'm sure there's a lot more people who know Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano are. They should have known who they were years ago. And so that to me is the highlight of the night, if you will. Scoring, headbutting, cuts aside, fantastic. I did hear from a lot of people who were reaching out to me about the stream. Obviously, I have nothing to do with that. I'm sorry to hear that happened. I think that an insane amount of people were trying to watch this live, and so they'll work out the kinks, and hopefully we get to see this again with Netflix. My understanding was it was around 72,000 people there. One thing about these Jake fights, people come early, and it's very impressive. And to see that many people in the U.S., I was just at Wembley for Dubois Joshua, and that was some 90,000. And we were talking afterwards, like, can that happen in America? Apparently it can, and it was impressive. And apparently it can when it's Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. And so let's talk about the main event. Jake with the entrance. Mike comes out. He's 58. And he will always look 58. He looks incredible for 58, but he still kind of moves like a 58-year-old guy. And so it was surreal to see him walk out there with the all black and all that stuff. Looked solid in the first. You can make a case for first and second round goes to Mike Tyson. The rest was obviously all Jake Paul. And I guess my assessment of it all was same thing I've said from the get-go. Polarizing fight. Didn't know what to make of it. Didn't know how to truly feel. Didn't know what to expect. Every criticism, every take was very valid, and now we got to see it, and now we can move on. I think Jake, to a degree, was in a lose-lose situation. He knocks him out in the first. Everyone says, this is murder, this is awful, this is disgusting. He knocks him out in the middle, same thing. He even knocks him out in the end, they'll say that. He goes the distance, they'll say, oh, he sucks, or oh, he carried him, and more on that in a moment. The only result that I think people truly would have been happy with is a Mike Tyson knockout of Jake Paul. I think that's the only one that would have sufficed, and that wasn't happening. There was never really any doubt. He landed a couple punches early on, but there was never really a question as to whether or not that would happen. I think Jake carried him. I think Jake didn't want to knock him out. I'm not sure if he could have, but he definitely took his foot off the gas last couple rounds for sure. And ultimately, I'm okay with that. I predicted a Jake Paul decision. I thought it would be a little bit more competitive to get to the decision, but ultimately I'm okay with that. I am surprised he didn't call out Canelo afterwards or someone else. I'm not suggesting that should be the fight or that he can beat him or anything like that, but it seemed to be like that was the thing on his mind. I am surprised that Mike said he'll fight again and that maybe he'll fight Logan, although I think he was kidding, to be honest. And so, yeah, a spectacle made for Netflix. And, on a selfish note, I know no one really cares about this. And, people want to say, you sold your soul, this and that. Like, man, I'm a kid from Montreal who grew up watching Mike Tyson, who grew up idolizing the Larry Merchants and Jim Lampleys of the world. To be standing there with a microphone and Howard Cosell and just staring at him at 58 is something I never would have ever dreamed of. That's what I always wanted to do. I always wanted to be in the ring, holding the microphone, interviewing these guys. And I'm very grateful and thankful to get opportunities like this and to be on platforms like Netflix and On DAZN and Showtime and all the other places. And it was a thrill. It was really a thrill, and it was something that I'll never forget. I'm happy we can kind of move on from this because it was dominating the conversation. We thought we were going to get in July, and now here we are. But, impressive crowd, some impressive showings. Katie and Amanda, obviously, Shushu Carrington, Barrios Ramos was a lot of fun as well. And the main event was a spectacle that was watched by a ton of people. I've never gotten so many texts from people who know what I do for a living but are not interested or don't care. That was kind of cool. Family members watching and whatnot. And now we go back to our regular lives. In the end, no one got seriously hurt. I don't think anyone was hoodwinked. I don't think anyone was conned or anything like that. I think if you looked at this fight seriously and understood who was fighting and what their limitations were, this was the most, reasonable result to predict. It's a fascinating thing, the Jake Paul experience, and it's going to continue, at least for the foreseeable future. I don't want the Mike Tyson fighting experience to continue. We're good. We saw what we saw in 2020. We saw what we saw tonight. He's a legend. Ride off into the sunset. Enjoy your life. Don't put your body through this, because I don't think anyone wants to see him get badly hurt or continue to get blows to the head. So these are my initial immediate thoughts. We'll have more, obviously, on Monday. And, of course, 309 coming up. And I just said 9, by the way, like Gary Delabate. 9. I see some news. Shavkat Rakhmonov against Ian Gary, December 7th. Sheesh. Shout out to Ian. And then Colby versus Buckley. Like both those fights better. Like them better. Nailed it. Buckley versus Covington is way more interesting to me. And more importantly, Shavkat versus Ian is a fantastic fight. And shout out to Shavkat for taking the fight. He had the title shot. Could be shades of Dennis Hallman or TJ Grant. No. Well, sort of. But he got injured. Anyway, you get the point. It's late. I'm tired. Shout out to everyone for watching. I appreciate you all. Thumbs up to the chat. Thanks for supporting us. Thanks for supporting me. Thanks for being kind if you were. Thanks for the nice messages. And I'm going to go home, and I'll be back with you for the 309 post show. And shout out to the whole crew back home in New York for the incredible watch party post show. Everything that you guys are doing. What a week it has been. It continues on crown.com. We'll have much more for you. For now, though, good night from Arlington. Thanks for watching this video. Hey, before you go, do me a favor, hit that sub button, give us a thumbs up, hit the little bell thingy as well, leave us a nice comment or two. We appreciate you all very much.